Well, this time I learned a lot. I have a team of 11 people this time. I have a campaign manager that actually has gotten people elected, and he's not charging me a dime. I have an assistant campaign manager. I have a media person. I have a fundraiser. All the things that a big campaign needs to win. So this year, I plan on winning. We're gonna kick Hogan to the curb, and whoever the Democrats bring out, we're gonna send them back in with him. So, we have a lot of ideas about making libertarian changes when we get in office, but of course we have to get there first. The only way to get there is if you, the Central Committee, say that you want me to be your candidate. I've also brought a new lieutenant governor with me this time that wasn't with us last time. She's new to the party, but she's very strong spoken about women's issues. And if you haven't been paying attention this last year, women are coming out and they want to be heard. So I felt it was really important that I had a woman running with me this time, so that the women of the state don't feel like they're just talking to another guy that says, yeah, whatever, and then does whatever he wants to do. So this time we have a woman for people to actually talk to that understands what they're saying. So my plan is to kick Hogan out of office. Their big issue this time, whether you believe it or not, is going to be redistricting. The next governor will write the new districts. Now, you know the Republicans want to write it big time because they can't fill offices because of these strange district lines we have. The Republicans want to change them even more to get more Democrats in office. We want to change it so that the districts become the counties. Every district will have 6 House members and 2 senators. It gives us just a couple more in the House and a couple more in the Senate, but it makes it fair for every county. It doesn't matter where you live, you have the same representation. So that is going to be one of our big pushes. We also have a big school agenda we're going to be pushing to change the way schools are. And I'm going on and on all night, but I don't want to keep you all here too long because I know there's questions. So please, if you have questions, throw them at me. I'm ready. None? Okay. Go ahead.
So, Tom Parks, by the way. Sean, question for you.
Yes.
In regards to good and substantial, would you try to pass legislation to do away with that and make Maryland a shall issue state?
What is it?
Do away with the good and substantial requirement within concealed carry permits, do away with the good and substantial, and move forward, try to move Maryland to
Well, my feeling is the Constitution of the United States says that you have a right to bear arms. It doesn't say that only the militia gets to carry arms. It says you as a citizen get to carry arms. And I think we should be abiding by that if you're a law-abiding citizen. Now, there is one thing we have to be concerned about. We can't be giving guns to crazy people. So we do kind of need to do background checks. I know people are against background checks. I'm not saying do a credit history, but a basic background check to make sure you're not somebody that breaks the law. You're not a felon and you're not crazy and are going to go down to school and have at it. Other than that, if you're a law-abiding citizen, I don't see why you can't carry a gun, whether it's concealed or not concealed. So that's where I come from on that issue. So I didn't answer your question.
I also have another footnote to that. So I understand that you're a constitutional carry guy. Within the realms of the political reality, are you willing to work and maybe give just a little bit to, let's say, the Democrats? So let's say they don't want to necessarily do away with good and substantial. Would you be willing to define what good and substantial is? Something that Hogan had made a promise in his campaign.
It's going to depend on what they bring forward.
Okay.
I'm not just going to flat out say, yeah, whatever they bring, I'm willing to negotiate with. It depends on what they bring forward.
Okay.
And if it's something that's good for the citizens, then sure, why not? But if it's not, I'm not just going to sit there and bow down because they run the legislature. We're not going to push it around just because we're the libertarian.
Good. Thank you.
Yes. Tony.
I'd like to bring up a point that you talked about redistricting.
Right.
Very good point. Problem is, you have roadblocks blocking what you would like to do. Okay, number one. Okay. Maryland State Constitution states that there are the 47 senators, 141 delegates. How you're going to get around that? You're going to have to pass constitutional amendments. You cannot just go directly implement this.
Right.
Moreover, in 1962 and later in 1964, there were 2 Supreme Court cases. Baker versus Carr was the first, and Reynolds versus Sims was the latter. Both of those cases, so many words stated that the state legislature is to be divided by population no matter where they are. So your plan, with all due respect, as much as I think it might be great, cannot be implemented.
Tony, I would tell you that 20 years ago, nobody thought marijuana would be legal.
Well, that's
So,
true, but
sure,
the
it's
thing-
gonna be a fight.
We're gonna have to take something to the Supreme Court in order for this to get.
No, we have to get our constitution changed, and then the Supreme Court can come back and tell us if it's constitutional or not.
I don't know about that, someone who is. in
Well,
this
we can
room-
argue that all night, Tony, but the plan is still to make the counties, the districts, if it's at all possible.
Okay.
One question is that Supreme Court ruling, was that based on legislative districts as opposed to state legislature?
Someone could tell me a little bit.
So, it was, okay, for the state itself.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
What will be your policy on legalizing drugs?
I think they should be legalized.
Will you be pushing for all legalization for everything?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we need to stop jailing people and give them treatment if they're addicted. We spend far too much money and time putting people in jail and just leaving them there and thinking that when they come out, they're gonna be cured. We need to start putting these people in treatment so they can actually get off the drug that they're addicted to. But marijuana, it's no worse than cigarettes, and yet we sell millions and millions of dollars of cigarettes every day. So I don't see why we're wasting money making it illegal. Yes, Mr. White.
First of all, thank you for stepping forward. Do you have a particular outreach strategy for promoting your campaign and, by extension, libertarian perspective on college campuses and perhaps high school campuses as well?
Actually, I should probably have Matt Granger stand up and discuss that.
Well,
because
it was not for no reason that I.
He's been helping our campaign out, and he has all kinds of ideas how our campaign get into high schools. And even my last election, I actually had high schools reach out to me and ask me to come speak at their schools. I mean, Dave Stoller asked me to come to his school up in Northeast. So I went to a lot of high schools last year because these senior classes graduate and they're voters. And people pretty much ignore them like they're just kids. So even on our Facebook, we have so much influx of high school kids that have been on our Facebook lately just because they want to be heard. We've addressed school bullying in Calvert County. That was because a student came to me and said, hey, this is going on. So I helped them get through the system so that they got some satisfaction. Yes, sir.
Sean, do you plan to use any environmental issues as part of your campaign?
Absolutely.
Right.
One of my biggest issues is the Conwego Dam. I think it's just waiting to destroy the bay. And it just gets ignored by the Republicans and Democrats. They wouldn't even talk about it the last election until I started throwing it in their face. But they had the prime opportunity to have the power company start dredging when they renewed their contract. And they were just like, no, we don't care. So the Conway Dam is a big issue, and we need to start dredging before we have a really bad storm and all that sediment gets washed through the dam and destroys the bay. Because all the money we're spending in the bay now would be for naught. We also have a big problem on the eastern shore with chicken farmers. And we're gonna have to do something so these chicken companies that really own the chickens help out so that the chicken farmers aren't just stuck there with piles and piles of chicken crap. Yes, sir. The question I've been waiting for.
Much as I admire your enthusiasm in planning to win the election, one of the things that I was hoping would achieve this time out is in party building, especially in doubling that membership so that we could, doubling the registration, so that we could have automatic ballot status. Do you have any specific plans, or are you open to making specific plans about your campaign can help us to do that?
Well, even today, there were many members that joined the party right before we came here and have got on the central committee today. The people that I've gone out and actually shaked hands and talked to. Benjamin Krause, I talked to him for 2 years before he came to me and said, I'm ready. So I'm gonna continue to do that. I've been getting people to come to the party, and all I can do is when I talk to people, see if they're willing to come. You're not gonna be able to force anybody to switch parties. I mean, it's like Benjamin, we had many conversations before Ben's like, wow, he never put down my opinion, and a lot of things he said were good, and I wanna go do that now. So that's how you build. You just keep knocking on doors, you keep talking to people, and even if they don't agree with you, you come back again and talk again, and keep talking until they realize that, hey, I really am a libertarian, that's where I belong. You get somebody to come to one libertarian meeting and they realize that their opinion matters, and all of a sudden they're a libertarian for life. So that's my plan. My campaign, make sure that every single person we talk to, we reach out, hey, you want to join the party? And I even told Bob, as a member of the executive board, my goal this year was to increase our membership by 10%. That's a big jump. And I've been working on it. I don't know if we're there yet, but we're going up.
Calvert County is one of our strongest, counties. St. Mary's is near.
Well, we're bringing in Western Maryland now too. We got a strong advocate with our lieutenant governor, and she's bringing people left. She's already given out 500 pens in 2 months. That's how many people she's talking to.
Sharon, could you have your campaign staff that's here stand up so we can
Sure.
see them?
Everybody's on my team stand up. We're really missing one person.